My wife wanted an open marriage and cheated with a CEO. When he ghosted her, she begged me back. But I was already dating her best friend. Hey Reddit, never thought I'd be posting this, but I've been keeping this story to myself for too long, and it's time it gets out there. So here it goes. I'm a 35-year-old guy who spent most of my life in construction. I started right after high school and worked my way up. Nope, no air-conditioned office or fancy job title here. I work with my hands, building stuff that lasts. You'd be surprised how many people respect that until they start hunting for flashier things. Anyway, I was married for 3 years to Jennifer, who's 30. She's in public relations or something like that, mostly spending her time in meetings about how things feel rather than actually doing stuff. I joke that I get paid to sweat while she gets paid to send emoji-laden emails. Things were fine for a while. We had a nice little routine with dinners, errands on weekends, the usual couple stuff. Nothing crazy, but it worked. We weren't fighting, and things seemed okay, which is why what she said after her trip threw me for a loop. So, she goes on this girls' weekend to Dallas. Nothing dramatic, shopping, spa days, fancy drinks, you know the deal. Her best friend Evelyn came along too. Evelyn's pretty cool, the laid-back one in their friend group, which sometimes acts like they're auditioning for a reality show. When Jennifer got back from the trip, things felt off. She wasn't just tired or dealing with a travel hangover. She seemed distant and lost in her thoughts, glued to her phone with a weird grin like she was reading comedy gold. I thought she just needed to chill, so I didn't push it. But on Tuesday night, she hit me with it. Looking back, this started a few months before the trip. She was hanging out with her friend Brittany more than usual. They weren't that close before, but suddenly they were having weekly dinners, and Jennifer would come home super late. Brittany's always talking about keeping your options open and how relationships shouldn't be cages, which is ironic given her longest commitment is with her stylist. After these meetups, Jennifer's mood would be all over the place, extra cheerful or oddly irritable. So, we're in the kitchen, I'm making eggs, and Jennifer's just standing there watching like I'm about to break her favorite mug. Then she drops it so casually, I think we should try an open relationship. I thought she was joking, so I laughed and kept cooking, but she was dead serious. I'm like, wait, what? And she just repeats it like it's no biggie, a trendy thing she saw on Pinterest, right between DIY smoothie bowls and marriage tips. I'm just staring at her, trying to figure out what happened to the Jennifer who used to say, if you cheat, I'm gone. Now she's suggesting we just schedule it? So, I lean back and ask, where's this coming from? She gives me this shrug, all this is how I feel right now. Says she's been reading up on it and that Brittany's also in an open relationship and loves it. Ah, Brittany, of course. This is the same Brittany who thinks bad decisions are liberating and tries out new dating apps every month as a self-help journey. I didn't even respond, just went back to my eggs. Meanwhile, Jennifer's still talking about personal growth and exploring ourselves, all while staying together but without any of the limitations, you know? Oh sure, because letting other people into your marriage sounds like the perfect recipe for relationship bliss. She goes on like she's quoting some deep Instagram wisdom or something, and I just stay silent. So, here's the deal. I let her talk because, honestly, I'm not shocked anymore, just super bummed. It's not her idea itself that bugs me, since people try all sorts of things in relationships. What really gets to me is that she didn't hit me up sooner. She just went ahead and made this big decision, dropped it on me like a bomb, and expected me to cheer her on for being so brave. Instead of making a fuss, I just handed her a plate of eggs in silence, and in that moment, she went from being my wife to a stranger. No shouting or losing my cool, I just stood there, trying to wrap my head around how the woman I built a life with was now talking about inviting others into our relationship like it was some casual weekend project. But let's be real, this wasn't a passing thought for her. She'd been mulling it over for a while. Maybe she even had someone in mind already. I had a gut feeling that she'd already lit a spark in her head, and Brittany added some serious fuel to the fire. So the next day, instead of flat out saying no, I went with, okay, let's try it. Her face lit up like I just handed her tickets to see Beyoncé. Really, you're cool with it? She asked. I said, if it makes you happy. That night, she was bouncing around the house, giddy as if her parents had just lifted a grounding. I stayed chill, but inside, my brain was flipping switches. I've always believed if you let people talk enough, they'll reveal their true selves. Fast forward to the next morning, Jennifer's glued to her phone, texting nonstop, leaving the house more often, rocking new clothes and a perfume that's pricier than my tools. She'd tell me she was just grabbing coffee with a friend or hanging out with the girls every night. She thought I was clueless, but really, I wasn't born yesterday. Instead of confronting her or acting ticked off, I just kept doing my thing, going to work, and playing dumb. Honestly, staying quiet was easier when I suspected she was already past the point of just thinking about open relationships. So, I did what any sensible guy would. I started paying attention, quietly letting her dig her own grave. Jennifer didn't want an open relationship, she wanted a fallback plan while scoping out her upgrade. And as for me, I was getting ready to cut the cord. Everything really started clicking when my sister Nora hit me up. We're tight, always been. She's 2 years younger, and she's the kind of person who tells it like it is. If my haircut's terrible, she'll say it. If my car stinks, she'll warn me before she even gets in. So, she texts me out of the blue, "Can we talk about Jennifer?" I say, "Sure, come over." I figured she'd offer some vague advice I'd heard before, but nope. Nora comes in like a wrecking ball, sits me down, and says, "Leo, I know you think you've got this open relationship thing under control, but I need to tell you Jennifer's already cheating on you." That grabbed my attention, and I asked how she knew. She whipped out her phone and showed me a screenshot from a group chat with a girl who used to hang with Jennifer and her crew. Turns out, Jennifer spilled the beans during a trip, saying she'd met someone promising. The texts revealed she'd already been chatting up a rich guy, a tech CEO with a fancy car, who travels a lot, and owns glasses more expensive than my truck. One of the texts even said, "If I play this right, I won't have to worry about money again." Jennifer was basically treating this guy like a winning lottery ticket. I sat there for a moment, letting it all sink in, not because I didn't believe it, but because having my suspicions confirmed like that was chilling. Nora said she wasn't going to mention anything initially, but watching me let Jennifer walk all over me was too much. I appreciated her honesty more than she knew, and I asked her to keep it quiet for now. I wasn't ready to confront Jennifer, not publicly at least. Because when someone shows you who they are, it's wise to let them get comfortable and think they're pulling one over on you. Makes it easier to plan your next move. Now it all made sense. The open relationship spiel was just a cover. Jennifer wanted to hook up with Mr. Executive without looking like the bad guy. She wanted to roam free without facing any consequences, while I was just supposed to play along. So, I was just hanging out, maybe catching a glimpse of a woman or two, letting Jennifer do her thing with Mr. Rich Boy. I figured I'd either quietly step away or wait for Jennifer to figure things out. But then, things got interesting. I started noticing Evelyn. Just to be clear, nothing went down between Evelyn and me during this whole time, not even close. Evelyn's not the kind of woman to just jump into something. She's smart, always looking sharp, and she knew things were a bit of a mess. So, she kept things respectful. But when the open relationship thing came to light, I started thinking back on all those moments. Like the time she was watching me fix our porch railing last year, and she stayed to help clean up after Jennifer's birthday dinner. She never flinched or gossiped when things between Jennifer and me got rocky. Then she shot me a text, just saying, "Hey, how are you holding up?" I wasn't sure how to reply, so I just said, "Still breathing." And then she hit me with, "You don't deserve to be treated like this. I've seen what's going on. You deserve way better." That hit me differently. She was the first person to really call it like it was. Everyone else just tiptoed around it. After that, my perspective shifted. I wasn't just the guy trying to stay cool anymore, I was the guy plotting my next move, not out of revenge, but because I wasn't about to let someone trash everything I'd built while they window shopped for new options. So yeah, I did something next. But it wasn't anything shady. I just started casually bringing Evelyn into the mix more. It began small. She came over to grab a jacket she'd left at our place, and I asked if she wanted to hang out for coffee. She was like, "Sure." We chatted for about 20 minutes about work, life, and how she was over the constant drama Jennifer was pulling her into. Evelyn said Jennifer loves drama but freaks out when it gets messy. I just nodded and said, "Welcome to my world." After that, I hardly had to try. Evelyn started popping by more often, sometimes to drop stuff off, sometimes to chat while I was working on the car. She'd hold the flashlight, hand me tools, and ask about the car parts. Most people would be bored, but Evelyn genuinely seemed interested. Meanwhile, Jennifer noticed. One night, as I was about to crash, Jennifer said casually, "You've been spending a lot of time with Evelyn lately." I didn't even stop tying my boots the next morning. I just looked at her and said, "Why does that bother you?" She shrugged, trying to play it cool, saying, "No, I'm just saying." I grinned and said, "Good, 'cause I wasn't asking." The next day, she was all detective-like with her questions. "Was Evelyn here again today? Did Evelyn say anything about me? Why's Evelyn texting you so much?" At first, I played dumb, saying stuff like Evelyn had just borrowed the drill, which was true. Who knows if she really needed it or just wanted to mess with Jennifer. Either way, it worked. Things got pretty clear when Jennifer stopped seeing the CEO dude. She said he got too intense and that she needed space. She suddenly tried to get close to me again, cooking more dinners, calling me babe like that would fix everything. One night, I got home from grabbing supplies and found her setting up a romantic dinner. I walked in and asked, "Is it someone's birthday?" She smiled and replied, "No, just thought it'd be nice for us to spend some time together, like old times." I sat down, ate quietly, and then said, "Evelyn mentioned you make a good mushroom risotto." Her face froze, like she short-circuited. "You talked to Evelyn about this?" she asked. "Yep," I said, "she mentioned helping you with the recipe." Jennifer forced a smile so tight her cheeks almost snapped. After that dinner, things got worse. She started hovering, following me around, asking what I was doing, who I was texting, if Evelyn had said anything new. I told her, "You should stop creeping around the kitchen like you're auditioning for a thriller." She wasn't thrilled about that. But here's what really worked. One weekend, I invited Evelyn over to help with the back fence. Jennifer was at home, pretending to read a book she hadn't touched since we bought it as a shelf decoration. Evelyn and I were in the backyard, working and joking around. She teased me about measuring twice and still cutting wrong, and I joked about her small hands being useless for power tools. It was the most natural thing. I hadn't felt that way in months. I glanced up and saw Jennifer standing at the window like a creepy movie character, just staring in. I waved, and she ducked away. Later, she hit me with the emotional guilt trip, saying, "I feel like you're pushing me away." I shot back, "You literally asked me to be cool with you dating someone else." "I'm not pushing you away, I'm giving you space," she snapped, "but you never wanted this, you just agreed to trap me." I replied, "No, I agreed because I wanted to see how quickly you'd ditch me for someone else, turns out, faster than Prime delivery." She stormed off, and the next day, Evelyn texted me saying Jennifer called her and wanted to chat. "She's losing it," she said. I replied, "Good, let her." Jennifer thought she had everything under control, thinking I'd be too clueless or loyal to do anything but wait around. She didn't get that I was already planning my next move. After that, everything shifted with Evelyn and me. It wasn't just casual conversation anymore. Something real was happening between us. It felt right, like it just made sense. So I invited Evelyn over for dinner at my place. She brought some homemade lasagna that was crispy on top and smelled like pure comfort. And let me tell you, she cooks like a magician. We sat there at the kitchen table, our plates full, laughing about silly stuff. Nothing felt forced or fake, just two people who had been through enough to deserve a peaceful evening. Halfway through dinner, I looked at her and said, "I don't want to play games anymore." She paused, set her fork down, and looked at me like she'd been waiting for that moment. "Neither do I," she replied. There was this quiet moment as if time slowed down. Then she said, "I should probably tell you something." I raised an eyebrow, and she smiled, not smugly but like she was relieved to finally let it out. "I've always liked you, Leo, even back when you and Jennifer started dating. I never said anything because you were taken, and I don't mess with that. But I saw how you treated her, how steady you were, and I always wondered what it would be like if you picked me." I was quiet for a minute, taking it in because, honestly, it was refreshing to hear something so sincere. Then I said, "Well, I'm picking you now. No more guessing." She smiled back at me, eyes locked. "So, we're doing this?" I asked. She grinned, "Yeah, we're doing this." That was it, no games, no weird conditions, no emotional drama. Just real conversation, real food, and someone who saw me as a prize, not a stepping stone. For the first time in ages, I believed it. The next day, I got home from work, still in my dusty boots, and found Jennifer on the couch, scrolling through her phone like she was searching for her next reality TV audition. Evelyn was supposed to arrive in about 15 minutes, and I thought, why not just address this now? So, I sat down casually, like I was going to ask about dinner. "Jennifer," I said, "just giving you a heads up. Evelyn and I are together now, officially." She stopped mid-scroll. "You're kidding." "Nope, it's with Evelyn, my best friend." I nodded. "Well, you wanted an open relationship, remember? I'm just exploring, like you asked." She jumped up so fast the couch probably needed therapy. "You're disgusting. How could you do this to me, with her?" "What kind of man?" I cut her off, calm and straightforward. "I'm the guy who gave his wife the chance to be honest, who stood by while she treated our marriage like a backup plan. You didn't just leave the door open, Jennifer, you kicked it off its hinges." She started pacing and yelling, calling Evelyn fake and me a traitor, accusing us of plotting behind her back. Then she cooled down and said, "I've been thinking, and I don't want an open relationship anymore. I want to go back to how things were. Like it was just a switch we could flip back, like, oops, my bad, let's rewind to the part where I tried to upgrade my life at your expense." I looked at her, letting the silence settle in, then said, "Yeah, I've been thinking too. And I want you to start packing. Have you ever seen someone blink so fast they look like they're buffering?" That was her, completely shocked, like she'd done the wrong math. "You're not serious," she replied. "Oh, I'm serious." "Get ready to receive your divorce papers," I said, and it hit her like she'd just found out the earth isn't flat after all. "You're divorcing me?" she asked, sounding like someone out of a cheesy drama. I cut to the chase. "No, Jennifer, I'm divorcing the version of you who forgot what commitment means. The one who thought love was something you upgrade when someone more exciting shows up. The version that threw loyalty in the trash the minute it wasn't thrilling for you anymore." She was about to argue, but I kept going. "You wanted options, you explored them, and now that Mr. Tesla's not ringing you up anymore, you suddenly remember I exist? Nope, Jennifer, you don't miss me. You miss the guy who was still around even when you didn't deserve it." She just blinked, trying to piece together the fantasy she'd been living in. "You said you wanted freedom, remember? Well, congrats, you're free now. Free from this marriage, this house, and the whole act of pretending you didn't know what you were doing." She was silent for a good 30 seconds, arms crossed, thinking about her next move. Then, in a pitiful voice, she asked, "Can't we at least talk about this?" I leaned in and said softly, "We did talk about it, back when you wanted to make our marriage a community project. You decided I didn't matter, so now I'm just going along with that." I walked past her, no shouting, no drama. "That's the real conversation, Jennifer. Go ahead and start packing before I get back, and don't even try the sympathy card. You left that behind with your dignity when you picked a CEO over your husband." She stood there, a storm of anger, confusion, and shame all mixed up, then slammed the door on her way out. When I got back, she was gone. Then Evelyn came over, and I spilled everything about Jennifer's reaction. Evelyn didn't even flinch, just nodded and said, "She was never gonna handle this well. She's not used to losing." We chilled on the terrace, eating leftovers with forks straight from the dish. Not the classiest, but definitely satisfying. Jennifer made her choice, and she's gotta live with it. Meanwhile, I finally felt free. The real show started the next day with 12 missed calls before breakfast. 2 voicemails that started with "Can we talk?" and ended with "You're a snake." Very productive. Then came the text barrage, "You're throwing everything away, you're being cruel, you'll regret this." And my personal favorite, "Evelyn was never your friend, she used you." I didn't respond, not because I couldn't, but because silence felt like the best way to let her scream into the void. Meanwhile, I met with my attorney. Word to the wise, future Reddit husbands, get a prenup. Not because you think you'll need it, but because if things go south and your wife treats marriage like a temporary lease, you'll be sitting pretty, sipping coffee as your lawyer gleefully points out, she doesn't get a dime. Not one damn dime. I made sure to keep those signatures safe, hard copy, scanned, and in a deposit box. My lawyer chuckled, "You're my new favorite client." The prenup was crystal clear. No infidelity clause, but hey, it safeguarded everything I brought into the marriage, my money, property, truck, equipment, and the business I busted my butt for. The lawyer read aloud to rub it in, "All income from premarital business stays separate." Meaning I keep the shop and those rental properties. I nodded, "Yep, even the lawnmowers?" He laughed, "Got receipts and weed whackers, huh?" Jennifer was only entitled to what was in her own account and whatever she left with. No spousal support, no half of anything, not even the dog she thought was too clingy. He slid the papers over, "Just sign, and we'll send this over." And that's what I did. Signed that day, and my lawyer sent them to her fancy new high-rise rental. She reached out once she got served, probably figuring out how to start her new chapter. So, before we even tied the knot, I had invested in my truck, my gear, and this business that I worked my butt off to build. When we were sorting out our divorce, he kept on reading the legal stuff out loud, almost like he was trying to rub it in. Basically, the papers said that any income from stuff I had before we got married would stay mine and wouldn't be split if we divorced. That meant my shop and those rental properties were safe, and even down to the lawnmowers I had. He chuckled, saying I came prepared, with receipts and all. As for Jennifer, she only got what was in her personal account and whatever she left with. No spousal support, no half of anything, not even the dog she didn't want anyway. She used to say I was too clingy with it, as if that's a bad thing for a pet. He pushed the papers toward me and said, "Just sign here, and we'll send these over." So, I did just that. I signed the papers. My lawyer sent them to her new place, which was in a fancy high-rise. It seemed like she was starting a new chapter. When she got the papers, she reached out, asking if I was serious. I just replied, "Dead serious. You open the door, I'm just closing it behind you." She claimed she didn't know what was in the prenup, but I just shot back with, "Not my fault." I didn't hear from her after that, but Evelyn did. Jennifer seemed unable to just take the loss and move on, silence not being her strong suit. She showed up at Evelyn's apartment uninvited, like she wanted to stage an intervention or something. Evelyn said she knocked loudly, like she was about to break in, with no warning, just anger and heels. When Evelyn opened the door, Jennifer burst in, drama in full swing, accusing her of betrayal. Evelyn, cool as a cucumber, just stood there with her hand on the door, deciding whether to hear her out or walk away and let her yell at the door. Evelyn quietly told her, "You wrecked your own marriage, I just chose not to clean up the mess for you. You quit the job, and now you're mad someone else took it." Jennifer seemed frozen, maybe expecting Evelyn to back down, but Evelyn didn't. She just looked her in the eye and said, "If this is why you're here, you can leave the same way you came in, alone." Then she shut the door. Meanwhile, while Jennifer was busy with her one-woman pity party, I was getting my stuff together. I moved all joint subscriptions to my accounts and blocked her access to everything still linked to me. She was changing passwords like it was some hacking challenge, but I just went through our stuff, both literally and mentally. I cleared out old photos, donated wedding items she left behind, and tossed her unused skincare. Just like that, she was out of my life, no alimony, no assets, nothing swinging back at me. Evelyn once asked if I felt sick about it all, but I told her no way. I felt like I'd walked out of a burning building and found someone with a water bottle waiting. The divorce became official. Jennifer was no longer my wife in any way. When my lawyer called to confirm, it felt like a massive weight was lifted. Standing there in my kitchen, still in my work boots, I just smiled. I wasn't angry or sad, I was done. Life wasn't perfect, but it was finally mine. But of course, Jennifer wasn't finished stirring the pot. She never is. It was my sister Nora's birthday, and we were having a casual backyard barbecue with family and friends. Evelyn was helping with decorations, Nora brought her famous potato salad, and my cousin Jason was already munching on his third burger. Good vibes all around. Then someone shouted from inside, Leo, someone's at the front gate." I went to check, and there she was, Jennifer, standing there like she'd returned from some grand exile, all dolled up with big sunglasses like she was dodging the paparazzi. Yeah, she even had a gift bag, probably packed with regret and confusion. Everyone froze, even the dog. I walked over calmly, not mad, just kind of amused. "Jennifer," I said, "you're not invited." She tried to smile and said she just wanted to chat. I told her it wasn't the right time or place. She took off her sunglasses and launched into her usual script, saying she'd been thinking a lot and wanted to give our marriage another shot, admitting she made a mistake. I just nodded, thinking, yeah, we all saw that coming. She kept going, saying she didn't realize what she had until it was gone and how seeing me with Evelyn bothered her. I told her, that's not your business anymore. People were watching the whole thing unfold. So, there I was, chilling in the yard when I saw Nora standing with her arms crossed. Jennifer, meanwhile, was looking all around like she just realized she wasn't the star of the show anymore. She asked me, "Can we at least talk in private?" I just shook my head and said, "Nah, whatever you've got to say, keep it. You had loads of chances over the past few months, but you chose someone else. And now that he dumped you, you're back here?" That shut her up pretty quick. Then she burst out, "So you're just replacing me like it's no big deal?" I leaned forward, making sure everyone could hear me, and said, "You replaced yourself when you let me stop being your priority." She tried to act cool and said, "This isn't over. You can't just erase everything we had." I laughed and replied, "Jennifer, you erased it. I just cleaned up the mess and handed you the broom." She looked like she was about to blow up, but then Evelyn came over. She was calm and composed, didn't even say a word, just stood by me, and that was enough. Jennifer gave Evelyn a look, expecting some kind of dramatic showdown, but Evelyn just tilted her head and said, "You are his past. I am his present and future, so you can leave now." Jennifer lingered for a bit, probably hoping someone would jump in to defend her, but nobody did. Eventually, she left, her little gift bag still clutched in her hand. A moment later, the music picked back up. Nora handed me another burger and said, "Happy birthday" to me, like nothing even happened. Evelyn and I sat down, and she said it felt really good. I replied that it was better than hitting the lottery. So, that's pretty much what went down. Jennifer had her options and took them, only to learn the hard way that love doesn't come with a backup plan. She thought I'd be the fool waiting around, but she was wrong. I didn't just get over her, I found something way better with Evelyn. And if you're thinking of giving someone another shot after they've let you down, think again. Don't let them become someone else's problem. There are way better things ahead. Oh, and for the record, Evelyn makes killer lasagna. Thanks for sticking around for the end of this story. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, so you don't miss out on the next juicy episode.